William Byrd is our featured composer, and ornithology is the study of birds. So we tied the two together by spelling both with a Y. Well, we decided to make it sort of bird in his habitat. So his teacher and colleague, Thomas Tallis, there is represented. His student and colleague, Thomas Morley, his contemporary, John Dowland, who shared the Catholic faith in a time in England when that was persecuted. The Nightingale, one of the pieces that we play, was a piece by Ferrabosco, of which Byrd also did a version. So there was a little bit of friendly rivalry back and forth between the two. And then, I guess you would say, one of his spiritual heirs, if you will, Orlando Gibbons, whose keyboard works were included along with Byrd's and John Bull's in the earliest printed collection of music for the virginals. Renaissance keyboard music actually translates very well to lute quartet. In fact, you can bring out the polyphony in the various voices much more clearly, I think, with 4 instruments than you can with 1.
Another thing is that lutenists found his music absolutely fascinating. There are many intabulations, that is to say, arrangements, putting into tablature music by William Byrd. And so what we're doing is following in the footsteps of the old masters, tabulating William Byrd's music. But in this case, it's actually for 4 lutes, so it's even grander and I think more beautiful in a way.
To me, the variety of music on the CD is huge. It goes from incredibly long and interwoven pieces to something a lot of modern choir singers know, a piece by Thomas Tallis called If Ye Love Me. And it is like the most beautiful thing. It's just the most simple, gorgeous arrangement of a piece that people are familiar with. So I think just you'd have to say that the thing that's I hope people will experience would be just the variety of different colors and landscapes and rhythmic and all aspects of music.
The Venere Lute Quartet has been around now for, I think, at least 15 years. We started playing together at one of the Lute Society of America seminars in Cleveland in 2002. We've come to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. This will be our 4th recording. We've matured as recording artists, and I think this represents our best work.
I actually had a full set of the Valet quartet instruments, treble, alto, tenor, bass. And Doug and I, between us, we'd each taught ensemble classes at the Lute Society summer seminars, and we both had a fair stack of things that we'd arranged for lute quartet. So I thought, hey, it would be fun to do this with, instead of the beginners that are usually in the ensemble classes, to get people who really play together to play through these quartets and see what they sound like. And so one day we picked out the 4 of us and each grabbed a lute.
Gail suggested, let's get together and read through these arrangements, these charts, and we liked it. And anyone that's in an early music group knows that one of the hardest things, once you have a group and it's viable, what are we going to call this group name? And you write to all your friends, and you look through every book and every painting, and these discussions and negotiations can just go on forever and be very contentious. So I'm walking with Gail, and I say, all right, Gail, what are we going to call this group? And Gail says, how about the Venere Lute Quartet? And I say, yeah, that's it. End of discussion.
The group has played a lot of places over the years. We've played in Europe and played all over the United States. And it's been a really family-building experience. It's 4 people who come from different backgrounds, love the same instrument. I trust these guys with my soul that they're going to be taking whatever I'm tossing out in my part and building it out and making it into a real amazing web of art.
Although this is an instrument that may seem strange and foreign and outdated to the 21st century, I think this music is exactly what the 21st century needs. It's something that's not in your face. It's not bombarding you. It draws you in. It kind of frees you to contemplate.
The lute is a quiet instrument. It's very, very subtle. But I argue that just as subtle as it is as amazing as it is when you actually get in and listening to the music. I play the bass lute in this quartet. Chris is a tenor, Doug plays alto, and Gail plays soprano, although sometimes alto too, it kind of switches around. But unlike guitar quartets, where you have 4 guitars that are equal sized, and people are assigned different places on that guitar, our instruments are actually embodiments of those voice levels. So whenever we do something, it's like a whole instrument is sounding. It's like the lute quartet is actually is this individual instrument of a kind, because they intermesh and all the partials of the notes intermesh, and that's part of the amazing sound of it.
There's a small but surviving corpus of music for a lute quartet that employs 4 different size lutes in 3 different tunings. The plus side of having the lute quartet is that you're creating a beautiful wash of sound with a huge range and the ability to incorporate everything from viola da gamba consort music to vocal polyphony, 6-part vocal polyphony in cases. Bringing out inner voices can be done technically in the hands of a skillful soloist, but it isn't easy. And if we want to feature a beautiful line in an inner voice, we have a better chance of having that happen. So for some reason that suits my musical profile, the creating repertoire and exploring this marvelous range of music that you can do with the humble lute. So I like to think that the lute quartet clarifies and sort of expands our understanding of the piece, because it can call attention to the individual voices.
The experience of a lute quartet is sublime, and it's like an experience you wouldn't have. You can't get it from any other source. Lute music is incredibly rhythmic. You cannot play one note without having an incredible sense of where it's going to land with everyone else. But most people, when they hear lute music, might think there's not a lot of rhythm going on. It's kind of this wash. But if you take the time to find out what's there, you'll be amazed that there's this incredible sense of control and rhythm and syncopation and playing off of each other's beats. The instruments themselves are very tactile and touched, and the lute's like a very wise old man or old woman. They don't talk loud, but they talk very deeply. The quiet, absolute beauty of lute music is, if people knew about it more, they would put a lot of it on. It's music that incorporates itself into your daily life, and it's a whole wonderful experience.
The sound of a lute quartet is unlike anything else. It could be ethereal, it could be heavenly, it could be raunchy and earthy. I think it all starts, obviously, with having great instruments. Our instruments were made by Grant Tomlinson, and it all starts with having great strings. Our strings are made by Gamut Music, and they're all gut strings. And I think the gut sound is something that is alive and wonderful, in ways that we can't really describe. You have to experience it, really. It's unlike synthetic strings in the sense that there are all of these nuances and colors that come out from the instruments when you play them. I think of Shakespeare's phrase, "'Tis it not strange that sheep's guts should hale men's souls from their bodies?" He didn't say nylon, he said sheep's guts. And I think that when we play, you hear that it's something alive and special.